Some crews walked out with $1 billion. Some were never caught. And some are still out there. In today's episode, 10 of the most audacious heists ever pulled, tunnels dug under banks, vaults called impenetrable, and a robbery so big it needed nothing but a note. Billions of dollars, gold by the ton, and some crimes the police never solved. We're counting them down from number 10 to the biggest of them all. So, let's begin. Number 10. The Lufthansa Heist. In 1978, a crew walked into a cargo terminal at JFK Airport and walked out with the biggest cash haul America had ever seen. It was an inside job, tipped off by an airport worker. $6 million in cash and nearly $1 million in jewels, loaded into a van in under an hour without firing a shot. Almost nobody was ever charged, because one by one, the people involved started turning up dead. Around $8 million vanished that night. It became the legend behind the movie Goodfellas. The perfect robbery, undone by everyone who knew about it going quiet permanently. Number 9. The Dunbar Armored Robbery, 1997, Los Angeles, still the largest cash robbery in American history. A regional safety inspector named Alan Pace knew the vault, the cameras, and the schedule by heart. He recruited 5 childhood friends, ambushed the guards, and cleaned out the depot in minutes. They almost got away clean. They took nearly $19 million in cash. Pace was only caught when a friend paid for something with a stack of bills still in its original bank wrapper. A flawless inside job, blown by one bundle of cash nobody thought to unwrap. Number 8. The Hatton Garden Heist. Over a holiday weekend in 2015, a gang broke into a London safe deposit vault, a gang whose average age was almost 60. They disabled the lift, climbed down the shaft, and drilled through half a meter of concrete with an industrial diamond-tipped drill. Then, they emptied the safe deposit boxes of everything inside. The press called them the Diamond Weezers, old-school thieves on one last job. They made off with an estimated $25 million in cash, gold, and gems, before their own bickering and a getaway car on CCTV gave them away. A career criminal masterpiece, undone by men too old and too proud to stay quiet. Number 7. Brinksmat. In 1983, 6 armed robbers hit a warehouse near Heathrow expecting a bit of cash. They found 3 tons of gold. An inside man gave them the keys. They poured petrol over the guards and threatened to set them alight until the safe was opened. Then they carried out gold bars worth a fortune, so much gold that laundering it reshaped the London underworld for decades. The haul was worth around $40 million. It's said that anyone wearing gold jewelry bought in Britain since may be wearing a piece of Brinksmat. They went in for cash and stumbled onto a fortune too big to ever fully hide. Number 6. The Banco Central Heist in Fortaleza, Brazil. In 2005, thieves rented a house 2 blocks from the bank and started to dig. For 3 months, they tunneled 78 meters underground, lined it with wood and lighting, and came up directly beneath the bank's vault. Over a weekend, they broke through the reinforced floor and hauled out 5 containers of banknotes, so heavy the money was measured in tons. They stole the equivalent of about $70 million in used, untraceable notes. Most of it was never recovered. No alarm, no guards, no witnesses. They simply walked in from under the ground. Quick one. If this is blowing your mind, hit that like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel. Now back to the vault. Number 5. The Securitas depot robbery, the largest cash robbery in British history. The gang kidnapped the depot manager and his family, holding them hostage to force him to let the robbers inside. For hours, they loaded cages of banknotes into a lorry while the staff were tied up at gunpoint. Then they drove away with more cash than most banks hold. They escaped with about $92 million, but so much of it was traceable that they struggled to spend a penny, and the gang was hunted down one by one. They stole a record fortune, and then couldn't spend it without leading police straight to them. Number 4. The Knightsbridge security deposit robbery. In 1987, a man asked to rent a safe deposit box in one of London's most exclusive vaults. It was Valerio Vice, an Italian playboy robber. Once inside with an accomplice, they pulled guns on the staff, hung a closed sign on the door, and calmly forced open dozens of boxes belonging to the city's richest people. Vice fled abroad, then flew back for his Ferrari and was arrested. They emptied around $98 million from the boxes. Vice was caught because he couldn't bear to leave his sports car behind. One of history's richest hauls, thrown away for the sake of a Ferrari. Number 3. The Antwerp diamond heist. In 2003, a crew beat a vault protected by 10 layers of security, 2 floors underground that experts had called impenetrable. Led by a thief posing as a diamond dealer, the so-called School of Turin studied the vault for years. They defeated heat sensors, motion detectors, a magnetic field, and a lock with 100 million combinations, and emptied over 100 safe deposit boxes. To this day, most of the diamonds have never been found. They stole over $100 million in diamonds, gold, and jewels. The gang was only caught because of a half-eaten sandwich left near the scene. They beat the world's most secure vault and were undone by their own rubbish. Number 2. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. In 1990, 2 men dressed as police officers talked their way into a Boston museum after midnight. They tied up the guards, and over 81 minutes cut 13 priceless works straight out of their frames. A Rembrandt, a Vermeer, and more. It remains the largest property theft in history, and not a single piece has ever been recovered. By law, the empty frames still hang on the museum's walls, exactly where the paintings used to be. The stolen art is valued at around $500 million. More than 30 years later, the case is still open and still unsolved. The biggest art theft ever, and to this day, nobody knows where the paintings are. And now, the moment we've been building to, our number 1, the single biggest heist in the history of the world. Number 1. The Central Bank of Iraq, the single largest bank heist in the history of the world. The night before coalition bombs began falling in 2003, Saddam Hussein sent his son Qusay to the bank with a handwritten note. Over 5 hours, workers loaded nearly $1 billion in American cash into trucks and drove it away. No alarm, no chase, just a note and the most powerful man in the country. Around $920 million was taken in a single night. Much of it was later found hidden in the walls of Saddam's own palaces. The biggest robbery ever pulled off needed no guns and no tunnel, just one man who owned the bank. So there it is. 10 heists, billions of dollars, tunnels, disguises, and inside men, and a few that got away clean. So which one would you have pulled off? The tunnel, the impenetrable vault, or the note that emptied a national bank? Tell me below. And hey, if you made it this far, do me one favor. Smash that like button and subscribe so the next story finds you. It genuinely helps the channel more than you know.